There are many different opinions on how to make the perfect batch of mashed potatoes. I'm here to show you how to make delicious, dreamy, creamy mashed potatoes without any dairy. Yes, it's true. Even if you're following a plant-based diet or just wanting to reduce your cholesterol, you can make mashed potatoes with 0 dairy products. So to make your mashed potatoes, you're going to need a few things. Of course, you're going to need some type of fat. This could be in the form of your favorite plant-based butter. This one is an example, and I like that it doesn't contain canola oil. Of course, you're going to need some kind of salt, a fair amount of sea salt. Potatoes, I'm using here the russet potatoes. You can use the Yukon Gold if you like. I generally figure on 1 potato per person. I have 4 potatoes that I need to peel and cut up, so I'm going to need a vegetable peeler. You'll need a good sharp knife, and you'll also need a potato masher. Don't mess around with a fork. Certainly don't use a food processor. Just go for it if you don't have one. If you want to make mashed potatoes, you have to buy a potato masher. And now I'm just going to go ahead and peel the rest of my potatoes, and I want to get them in that cold salted water as soon as possible. Again, just to avoid any kind of browning. Some people are die-hard Yukon Gold fans, but I really like the russet potatoes as well for mashed potatoes. You can also use red potatoes, so it's really up to you. Of course, if you see any brown spots like this, you're going to want to cut them out. And then what I have here is 4 more potatoes that I cut up. I peeled and cut up, and I put them in cold salted water. You want to use a fair amount of salt. For this amount, 4 potatoes covered by 1 inch of water, I would add at least a couple teaspoons of salt. I know that sounds like a lot, but it prevents them from browning. And you're also going to need some type of milk. This is almond milk, or you could use oat milk, or kind of a thicker type of milk, soy milk. You just don't want to use something thin like rice milk. You could even use coconut milk depending what you're making if you're going for more of a Caribbean flavor. You want to bring your potatoes to a gentle boil. Don't boil them too hard. And then we're going to turn the heat down even a little bit more. And then we're going to pop the lid on, cracked. Cook them for about 20 minutes until they're very easily poked with a fork. If they still seem to be cooking too hard and you're getting any foam appearing, just turn down the heat. Ta-da! Okay, so our potatoes are nice and fork tender. You can see that I can easily poke one with a fork. They're super soft, and at this point we're going to drain them. What I have on the back burner is the almond milk, nice and hot. I warmed it up so that it will not be cold when I add it to the potatoes. So I'm gonna mash the potatoes up. I drained them really well, and I'm just gonna mash them up by themselves first. And they're gonna be dry. You want them like that. You don't want them to be wet. You really wanna get all of that water off. I even like to put them back on the hot burner so that it helps just dry up the liquid. It's gonna look a little crumbly, but that's okay. So once we get that all mashed up by itself, we're gonna go and add the butter. We're gonna be adding 1 tablespoon of vegan butter for each person or each potato. You could think of it like that. So I had 8 potatoes in here. I'm gonna put in 8 pats of the vegan butter. Or you could do olive oil. Sometimes I do half olive oil, tablespoon of olive oil, for each person. So you could do 4 tablespoons of olive oil and 4 tablespoons of the vegan butter. Either way, but you do want enough fat in there to make it delicious. And it's also key that we haven't added any milk yet. At this point, we really just want to be mashing the potatoes with the butter. Now, as far as salting, you can taste test them. If you've heavily salted the water, you may not need additional salt, but otherwise you can add a little bit of salt at this point and some freshly ground black pepper. Some people also like to add roasted garlic. That can add a really nice touch. And just keep on mashing. There's no shortcut around this. As I said, definitely don't use a food processor. You don't want to be using an immersion blender or anything. They'll get like glue. Okay, so you can see that we have this nice, creamy, smooth consistency. And now we're gonna add just enough of our almond milk to get it the right consistency. And this kind of varies. You can start out with a few tablespoons and see where that takes you, and then you can always add more, but you don't want to add too much because you can't take it out. And the fact that it's hot really helps it to blend in nicely. Now, some people like to use more of a vegan half and half. That's gonna be thicker and give you more of a kind of rich, creamy taste. That's fine. So rather than the almond milk, if you do want to use a vegan half and half, feel free. I'm gonna add just a little bit more. So this was about a full cup of almond milk. So far I've added, I don't know, this is probably a total of like half a cup or so. Maybe a little bit more, 2/3 of a cup. But you can see that we have this nice smooth consistency, nice and creamy. I'm all alone with a big bowl of mashed potatoes. Can I eat this all myself? I think I could. So there you have it. Delicious, creamy, perfect mashed potatoes without any dairy. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with a friend, and subscribe to my channel for more delicious, healthy recipes. Thanks for watching.